Now, the prospect of a Labour government forming a majority government would have been incredibly frightening to the elites. It was
Just remind the viewers, though, women could not vote in that election in 1924. Some of property could, but all
Indeed.
women could not vote until 1929.
Indeed, the 1929 so-called flapper election was the first time that universal male and female suffrage on a purely universal franchise was enacted. So although some women got the right to vote after 1918, all women didn't get the right to vote until later. So that's an important aspect of that election. So we've got the 1924 general election, and the Daily Mail, owned by Lord Rothermere, as I believe it still is today owned by the descendants of the then Lord Rothermere, they published a letter which was purportedly from Grigory Zinoviev, who was the leader of the Comintern, the Communist Internationale. In that letter, the Soviet Union was talking about the influence it had over British leftist organizations, including the Communist Party of Great Britain, which meant something very different in the 20s than it means today. And by implication, the Labour movement and the Labour Party itself was implicated as having Soviet ties. As a result of this letter, which was published just in very close proximity to the election date, Labour lost the election, Stanley Baldwin forms a government, and Labour's reputation, at least in some quarters, became incredibly tarred. Now, Zinoviev denied having anything to do with this document at the time. He made his denial prior to the general election. The Labour Party totally renounced the very idea that such a letter existed, but the power of the press at the time, which clung on to this like a piranha fish on a man's limb, just wouldn't let go. The red blood of Labour was spilt, and that was certainly one of the reasons why they lost the election to a fairly internally divided Conservative Party.